Hi, Shakti here. So I've got something for you right now. Where are all the conscious men? Hands up who has ever asked himself this question. Hands up who has ever said that out loud. Hands up who's ever gone on about that quite a lot to their girlfriends. Me. Where are all the conscious men, right? It's a question that I know many women in the conscious arena are asking and saying out loud. And I really want to speak to this because it's a topic that's really close to my own heart, obviously, and very close to my work. I have been teaching embodied awareness and awakening for women for 17 years. I've been teaching Tantra and yoga for 12 years, and all of these modalities really are about unification, and Tantra and yoga especially are about the unification of masculine and feminine at their ultimate, right? And so this has been my ongoing inquiry, my ongoing practice, and my ongoing teaching. And of course, for me, the impulse, the calling to this work comes from my own wounding and my own pain, my own sense of separation, my own experience of unhealthy relationships. But, you know, it's not that I've had a string of always awful relationships, but I would just say that my relationships were very much modeled on the mainstream narrative of what a relationship should look like rather than being authentic, conscious relationships. And, you know, I was divorced twice, and it was after the second divorce, being a single mum on my own with no money, no home, no friends because I'd moved countries, and two young children, that I thought, right, I really need to look into what's going on here. And that's when my serious searching began. And so it began from heartbreak. It began from the feeling of being desolate and destitute. It began from feeling hopeless and worthless. That's where my search began from in 2006. 14 years ago, although I'd been teaching before that, right? And so I went searching, and what I was searching for initially was love and sex. I loved sex. I hadn't had sex for 4.5 oh, the internet just cut out. I hadn't had sex for 4.5 years in my marriage with my young children. And I wanted sex, and I wanted love. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be loved. And so off I went on my search, questing. All of these practices, Tantra, yoga, body work, energy healing, reading, conscious relationship, awakening, Shakti, all of this stuff, right? Searching, relationship, lover, many lovers, many experiences with men. And the men kept leaving or just showing up to have great sex and then leaving. And what I ached for and what I longed for was a conscious, committed relationship. And it kept not happening. And I kept saying, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? I've been doing all this inner work and still no conscious man is showing up for a committed relationship. Right? And then still doing all the work, still not seeing what it was about me that was creating it. What was it about me that was creating it? I felt like God was punishing me. I felt like God was punishing me. But then, you know, I did have little hints, experiences where I was given an experience to show me something, but it didn't fully land. And every time I had this experience, I'll tell you what was going on. So, for example, I was on a Tantra workshop, and first day of the Tantra workshop, really intense processes, sweating, snot, crying, stomping, shaking. You know, if anyone's been to a Tantra workshop, it's full on, it's whole body, whole emotion, everything, all in. And I go all in when I do things. So a whole day of that. I was, my hair was a little bit greasy like it is now. I'd been like obviously really sweaty. I hadn't washed all day since the morning, and I was going home after this experience with a friend who was staying with me. And as we were walking home towards my flat, literally a few hundred yards from my flat, we walked past a salsa club and I heard this music, and I turned and I was like, oh, I love salsa music. So I just kind of popped my nose in there and I looked in, and I just said to my friend, come on, let's go in. Like, we have to go in. We've got to go and dance to this music. So I had sort of baggy jogging bottoms on, baggy t-shirt, probably like a bit fragrant from the day. But all I could feel was the joy of the music, the desire to dance. And of course, having done so much energetic processing and clearing throughout the day on the Tantra workshop, I was fully unified. There was no sense of looking for something, needing something, wanting to flirt with anyone. None of that was anywhere in the picture. Walked into the bar, the salsa club, locked eyes with the singer, beautiful, oh my God, gorgeous Cuban man. We went home together that night and made love. And, you know, no makeup, no hairstyling, no jewelry, none of this stuff that women are told they need to have to be attractive and to be beautiful to men at all. And the message I was given very clearly is it's not about any of that bullshit that the mainstream tells you, that you have to look a certain way and dress a certain way and be a certain size and have big boobs and all that stuff. It's bollocks. It's complete nonsense. What man is really attracted to is your radiance, is your essence, and is your wholeness. You showing up in your fullness, unified, right? Another experience, I go to the 5 rhythms. I am doing a practice and a process of inner unification at the time, and I'm there with the intention of dancing with my inner masculine. I'm there with I'm dressed up for him, for me, in red, because I'm doing my priestess initiation that year, so that's part of the training. And I go there and I'm just in the experience fully of being with my inner masculine and dancing as if I'm making love with him, and it's like he's there in my body with me, and it's me and him dancing together, and I'm in ecstasy, I'm in love, I'm in flow. There is no thought, not a second's thought of how do I look, what do people think of me, are there any good looking men in here? No. All the attention, all the focus is in here with me, even though my eyes are open. And as I'm dancing, then all the most attractive, beautiful men start coming towards me and wanting to dance with me. And I'm like, wow, what is going on here? Like, this never usually happens, not to this degree. And, you know, I can only conclude it's because I am there with my inner masculine, in my wholeness, in my sheer exuberant radiance, not holding anything back, because I'm completely safe, I'm completely at one, I'm completely myself. I don't need anything, I'm not looking for attention, I'm not looking for a man to get off with. And in that beingness of my wholeness, it was like men were coming to me like literally like bees to honey. Similar experience on another occasion, same thing, and a man just coming into my orbit and we became lovers. Another example, I was at a festival was it a year ago? Just over a year ago. It was a summer festival, and I've been single, but at that point I'd been single for 2 years and had really deepened into a sense of enjoyment of myself and an enjoyment of being with myself. And at that festival, it was at Buddhafield, I was completely in my flow. I was completely in my being. I was completely in my heart, and I was with myself. I wasn't looking to meet anyone. I didn't have any neediness in my field at all. I went to a contact improv class, and I was just dancing full on, full out, wildly as me. Again, no thought for a second of what I looked like. You know, I had hairy armpits, I had knickers on, I hadn't waxed my pubes. I don't wax, by the way, but when in the summer I usually wax my bikini line to wear a bikini. I hadn't waxed, so my pubes were hanging out of my knickers. I had, you know, I couldn't give a shit. And in that dance, this man showed up like vroom, right in front of me, vroom, and we locked eyes and we danced. I have never in my life had a dance like that, ever. It was complete union. It was complete oneness. It was seamless. We were rolling around the floor. We were leaping about. I was rolling over his back. I'd never met this man in my life. I wasn't even aware he was there until the minute he came in front of me and we locked eyes. Just like that, right? And we went on to become lovers. In fact, at the end of that dance, which went on for a very long time, he said to me, "I want to make love with you." Right? So, and he was an incredibly conscious man. My point is like, if you are there with the energy, with the question in your field of where are they, you are going to repel them, because that very question is revealing that you don't feel whole in yourself and you're not connected with your inner masculine. Or if you don't even like that phrase, you're just not with yourself. You're feeling a need, you're feeling an emptiness. And so that is going to be in your energy. Whereas if you are integrated with him, he's with you, he's holding your hand, he's dancing with you, you're breathing with him. There is no lack, there is no wanting, there is no need. There is simply him showing up so you can be more of yourself. So you are just open and full and radiant and sexy and juicy and confident. Like there's no looking, there's no self-consciousness, there's no neediness. Then he's going to be magnified to you. And if you have that relationship internally with the stillness of consciousness, with the presence of consciousness, then that is going to be there as your anchor, as your rod, as your holding, as your staff, as your inner lingam, right? And so you always have that. You always have that there. There's no going off center for something, for someone else. So that is, yeah, I guess that's the main part of the message that I wanted to convey this morning. It's like, where is he? Look inside. Keep meeting him, keep meeting him, keep meeting him, keep cultivating that aspect of yourself, which is the divine masculine, which is your deepest state of stillness. And let that deepest state of stillness be with you, be present with you throughout your day, and keep coming back to that. And anytime you feel the sense of need or isolation or separation, that stillness has to meet the feeling. So you have to feel the feeling. You have to feel the feeling fully without projecting it out. And the stillness is the love that meets it. The stillness is the love that integrates it. The stillness is the source that brings you back to integration, but you have to feel it first. So if you're casting outside yourself for resolution to the feeling of loneliness, it's going to be endless. It's never going to resolve. The only way to resolve that is to feel the loneliness by yourself, and to meet it, and to meet it, and to meet it, and to meet it in your heart, and just keep strengthening that self-love, unification, union. Here inside, here inside, here inside, here inside, here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is, right? And I'll tell you another interesting thing that's on this theme, which is, oh yeah, the most of you know, or I have shared very openly, that I've recently started dating somebody. And there's two things I want to share about that. Again, it's another kind of really good classic case study of how this energy principle works. So I've been single for 3 years at that point, and I did really want to meet somebody, right? But I also know that coming from that place of neediness is never going to be the answer. And I went to a march in London in October, fully myself, feeling fully complete, like joyous in my heart, radiating love. I wasn't going there with any other thought than I'm showing up for love. I went on my own. It doesn't bother me doing things on my own because I feel complete by myself. I took my shamanic drum and I was drumming and I was chanting, literally like, let there be love on earth, let there be peace on earth, drumming and chanting, just in my own bubble of love, my own bubble of completeness, and just showering the world and the people around me with this. And in that space of completeness, this man just shot out of the crowd, out of nowhere. I was completely unaware of him, and asked me about the drum, and we got talking, and that's the man who's become my lover. Wasn't looking for him, had no thought of, oh, let me meet a man. Wasn't even in my head. And how amazing, the amazing thing is that of all the thousands of people that were there, tens of thousands, we have friends in common, we have interest in common, we have a mutual devotion to awakening, like frequency, right? The same frequency. It's absolutely astounding. And the other thing, though, is that I know when I talk about these stories that people watching this want to project, or tend to want to project onto that, a romance, like a romantic notion of, oh, now she's found love. And I feel in that the projection of your own romantic fantasy onto me. And I want to say, don't do that. I don't know what's going to happen with this man. It's very early days. And we are both very conscious that we don't want to fall into that trap of projecting romantic ideals onto one another, because we're both committed to showing up consciously and relating consciously. So that means not projecting forward, not projecting ideals onto each other, and just being very present moment by moment each time we come together, and not knowing what the future holds and being comfortable with that, right? So that's important to mention. And the thing that has really helped me in that, and in this is a really wonderful revelation, this may be the very first time in my entire life, and I'm very happy to be honest and open about that I have met someone who I find attractive, who I really admire, respect, really like, who I've made love with and enjoyed the most beautiful lovemaking with, and I'm not in love. I feel love, but by this stage in the past, I would normally be saying I'm falling in love with this person, and I'm not. I'm still completely me, and my energy is still completely contained here with me, right? So I really feel the shift that has happened for me in this new relating is that the difference, what's made the difference is that for the last 3 years, I have been devotedly meditating once or twice a day. I mean, I've been meditating for years, but it's become deeper. And the difference is it's a stillness meditation practice. And I have been devoted to loving myself and cultivating a sense of wholeness and completion within myself before anything else, And it's really, really, really reaped rewards, because I'm now seeing the distinction in the man who's showing up and the way that we are able to relate together, which is at a higher level of transparency and consciousness than I've ever experienced in my relating with anyone before. And that is such a gift. I can't tell you, but it's the result of so much inner work and so much devotion to self-love, to self-healing, to self-integration, to bringing back all those wounded parts of myself that were wounded, were insecure, were needy, were anxiously attached, triggered by abandonment, all of those parts, and to keep feeling them rather than blaming him in the external, knowing this is all me, and my work is just to integrate. And what I do when I integrate is let my masculine presence meet the emotions, meet the feelings fully. So I hope that's really useful. As always, ask your questions and post your comments. I don't look at them while I'm talking because I kind of go into a bit of a zone. And I just want to say that if this resonates for you, or if you want to know more, most of you know, but I have taken the material from the Meeting the Masculine day retreat that I did and put it into an online self-study program for you and enhanced it. So it's got all of the content of the day retreat and more. It's like a whole immersive program that you can do to go through the steps of meeting your masculine and giving you the tools to heal some of the aspects where you're still holding blame, where you're still holding shame, where you're still holding resentment, anger, where you haven't forgiven. Because this also needs to happen. If you've got things in your field where you're still holding resentment against a lover, a husband, a father, a brother, somebody, right? If you anywhere in your field, there's still heart closed resentment, that's going to be in your field. So of course, that's going to be reflected in who and what you attract or don't. If you still have the fear of abandonment, that's going to affect who you attract. So when I started to see my current lover, you know, I have a long experience of being abandoned and betrayed multiple times over. And that fear came up straight away within the first time of being intimate. That came up, and I knew it wasn't anything to do with him. And I sat with it and meditated with it and felt it. And it was really painful and excruciating, but I went through the process for myself. And he's so honored that. He's so honored that. And he's showing up. He's not going to abandon me. He's not going to do that because he's different to all the other men that I've attracted, because I'm doing and have done the work to heal that abandonment wound. So what's your thing? What's in your field? So yeah, in my Meeting the Masculine program, I'll take you through this, show you how to connect, give you various tools, so that you can deepen this inner relationship, because without a doubt, the quality and the nature of your inner relationship will be reflected in the men that you attract or that you don't, and in the quality of your relationship. It's all an inside job. All right. I hope that's really helpful, guys. I speak from love and from passion, because look, I have been through so much turmoil myself with men and with the masculine, and it's such a joy to then I would never ever sit on the top of a mountain and say I've sussed it all out, look at me. Never going to do that. I've had too many experiences of being humbled by life to ever do that. I come with humility, I come with love, and I come with passion, and I come just wanting to share the fruits of my own long experience, exploration, study, practice, all of it. And the final thing, actually, I feel like I'm waffling, but I think it's all relevant. Again, most of you know, some of you won't, that I've had the most amazing healing shift with my father, who I have resented most of my adult life and really struggled to forgive, and tried so hard, so many times. I can't tell you how many forgiveness ceremonies I have done around my relationship with my dad. In brief, controlling, dominating, patriarchal, misogynistic, sexist, all of those things. And trying to love him. I tried to love him so hard and I couldn't. And finally something has clicked. And when I say something has clicked, it's not for nothing. I've been doing the work. I've been doing the inner work of healing and forgiveness with the masculine, including him. And as my heart let go that last piece of resentment and open to him without any expectation, suddenly we're having a relationship where we can communicate. Amazing. I never felt heard by him all my life. Suddenly he listens, suddenly he asks after me, suddenly he calls me. He's never called me in my, like, literally, I've told friends this. My dad has probably called me less than 5 times in my entire adult life. It was always my mum who called. My dad never called me ever. He calls me now. He asks after me. He asks after my children. He sends love. He talks about his feelings. This is revolutionary. I swear it's because I've done the inner work. I can't see any other thing that could have created that shift. So it's all an inside job. And the exciting thing is that then we can create whatever we want just by doing the work. And there's no one to blame. We just need to do it. And that's exciting because look how we can change things. All right, enough waffling. What have you said? I can't read it without my glasses. Oh, I know. And it's painful, isn't it? It's painful. I felt so unloved. But look, I felt so unloved because my dad didn't call me. And what that meant was I was aching to be loved by men. Aching to be loved by men. And that was in my field. So they felt that and it repelled them. You know, they can feel that aching to be loved. The little girl, well, for me, it was my teenager, aching to be loved, aching for attention. Just give me some attention. And that was what meant that I attracted an abusive man. That desire for male attention, because he love bombed me. And my aching for attention, aching to be loved by the masculine part was like, oh, finally, I've got what I want. A man who tells me how gorgeous I am, who's like fully focused on me. And I didn't realize it was a load of bullshit and it was just love bombing and he was abusive. But that was the final straw that woke me up. So, you know, it took me, unfortunately, to get to the place of being in an abusive relationship to wake up to this and have the final last 3 years of inner work that has shifted it. Don't get to the point where you have to go into an abusive relationship to wake up to the realization that you create your reality and it's all about the inner relationship with your masculine, with your heart, with yourself, and the integration of all that you are to attract what you truly desire. I love you. Oh, lots of love. Bye, guys.